Hello, viewers. Welcome to Literary Concepts. Today's topic is novel. Now, let us try to understand the concept of the novel. The definition of the novel: a novel is a lengthy work of fiction. A novel is a lengthy work, so it is a lengthy work of fiction. So, it is typically written in prose, which tells a story through the experience of its characters. So, novel is written in a prose manner, and it is a story through the experiences of its characters. Okay, the experiences of the characters is explained in novel, so it presents an organized narrative. So it presents in an organized manner a narration, exploring so that is more probing, looking into the themes, settings, and ideas, and often reflects the complexities of human life and society. So we find the different themes and at the same time settings and then the different ideas, okay, which reflect, which think, understand the complexities, understand, so very, very complicated, hard to understand of human life, the complexities of human life and society. And novels usually have a plot, a way of storytelling, that is a design that develops through chapters. Okay, you find different chapters in novel incorporating various literary devices, methods of telling, such as character development. Okay, so we find the character development and dialogue and conflict, some problem, and symbolism, using symbols to express ideas. So this is about definition of a novel. Now let us try to understand the features or characteristics of a novel. The first feature is length. Okay, novels are typically longer than other forms of fiction. So you find it is very lengthy in the manner of okay, the novels are lengthy, okay, longer than any other form, such as short stories and novellas. When you compare with short stories and novellas, you find novels are lengthy in character, and they usually have a word count of at least, we find at least 40,000 words. Okay, we find in a novel. Then the second character is a plot. A novel generally has a well structured plot, okay, a well written plot, a well developed plot, so which may be complex, which may be difficult sometimes understand, and involving subplots, sub themes, and then we find the twists that engage the reader. Okay, when you find that twists, understand which engages the reader. So the second feature is the plot, and the third feature, characters. Okay, novels usually have multiple characters. There are multiple characters with a significant depth, the deeper way of understanding the character and their development, the gradual development and growth. The protagonist's journey or transformation, the main character, okay, who is also called as the protagonist, who takes forward the story. So the protagonist's journey, understand the life or the transformation often drives the story. So it the story revolves around the protagonist journey or the protagonist evolvement, understand. So that is the third feature. And then the fourth one is a setting. The setting is related to time and place. is crucial in novels. So, providing a backdrop, understand a backdrop against which the characters' actions take place and contributing to the overall mood and theme. So, the setting, the time and place are very, very crucial in novel. Okay, so in that particular time and place backdrop, the characters' actions take place. The characters' behavior, the actions, the the narration of the novel takes place. Okay, basis on the setting, and that contributes to the overall mood of the story and the theme, the development of the theme. So now the fifth feature is theme. Okay, novels explore. So generally, in novels we find the themes such as love, morality, society, politics, and human nature, allowing readers to delve deeper into specific ideas and reflections on life. Understand? So we find the themes, okay, the topics such as love, morality, and related to society and politics, and particularly human nature related to human characteristics. So by reading, the readers will understand more about the specific ideas, okay, the specific ideas and reflections on the life. Okay, so that is the fifth feature, and the sixth feature is narrative style, the way of narration. Novels can be written in various narrative styles. Okay, we find the narrative, the method of narration. So the first person narrative, the third person narrative, omniscient narrative. Omniscient means knowing everything. Omniscient narrator or unreliable narrator, each providing a unique perspective of the story. So, first person narrative by telling that I, third person narrative is someone who is away from these, away from the character, and the third person observes everything from his point of view. The story is narrated, and omniscient who is involved, omniscient narrator who is involved, who is known everything about the characters, the themes, the happenings in the novel. So each perspective, each style of depiction, each style of narration provides a unique, very special perspective, understanding of the story. Understand? So then the seventh one is imagery and symbols. So we find novels often employ vivid imagery. Understand? So different imagery, images, and symbolism, symbols to convey, to tell, okay, deeper meanings. Understand the deeper meanings and emotions in the story. So these are the features of a novel. Now let us try to understand the types of novels. The first type is a literary novel. So, literary novels focus on character development, style, and thematic depth rather than plot. In literary novel, we find that character development, the development of character, the style of narration, and the thematic depth. Okay, it focuses on a particular theme or topic rather than the plot. Understand? For example, of literary novel is To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. Okay, To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee, Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. These are the uh, examples of literary novels. The second type of novel is historical novel. So historical, in the name historical itself, it says that it is set in past time period. Understand? It is related to the ancient time, historical time. So with historical events, explaining historical events, depicting the historical events, characters, and settings playing a significant role. So, in historical novel, we find that historical events which happened and the characters, historical characters, and the settings, these play a very significant role. For example, of historical novels are War and Peace. War and Peace, very, very famous. War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy and Wolf Hall by Hilary Mantel. These are the examples of historical novels. Then the third one is a romance novel. So romance novel centers on romantic relationship. So it revolves around, okay, it concentrates on romantic relationships, often with a predictable happily ever after ending. So the conclusion, the end of the novel, the end of the story, we find happily, okay, happy endings. So, example of romance novel Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen, The Notebook by Nicholas Sparks. These are the examples of romance novel. The fourth one is a science fiction novel, which which explores, which concentrates on futuristic, okay, related to future, very modernistic and scientific and technological concepts, often an alternate realities or universes. So different realities, different universe, so which are dealing with futuristic, very modernistic thoughts and scientific development and technological concepts and aspects we find in science fiction novel. For example, 1984 by George Orwell, okay, and Dune by Frank Herbert. These are the examples of science fiction novels. Then the fifth one is fantasy novel. Fantasy, so which is imaginary world, okay, features magical or supernatural elements often set in imaginary worlds, okay, which are not real. Imaginary world, okay, fantasy which is not real, and we find the magical elements and supernatural elements, okay, related to magic, related to god and spirits, okay, devils, so which are often set in imaginary worlds. For example, we find this The Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien. Okay, we also find the another example is Harry Potter series by J.K. Rowling. So these are the popular examples of fantasy novels. Even we find The Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter movie series of fantasy novels. Understand? Then the next novel is mystery novel. So mystery novel revolves around a crime, puzzle, or enigma that the protagonist must solve. So mystery means some, okay, which is not understandable, which is difficult to understand. So it mainly revolves around, it concentrates, okay, explores a crime. We find a crime and a puzzle, which is very complicated and confusing, and enigma, so that is very difficult to understand or explain. Okay, in such situations, the protagonist must solve such situations. The crime, the puzzle, or enigma, okay, are solved by the protagonist. Example of mystery novels are The Hound of the Baskervilles by Arthur Conan Doyle, Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. So these are the example of mystery novels. The another seventh one is thriller novel. So thriller novel focuses on suspense, excitement, understand? So tension, often involving crime, espionage, and psychological elements. So we find suspense, very nervousness, excitement, and tensions. Okay, which are always involving that happening of crimes, spinies, that is spinies, and psychological elements we find in thriller novels. Example of thriller novels: The Da Vinci Code by Dan Brown, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo by Stieg Larsson. So these are the example of thriller novels. The eighth one is a horror novel. So horror novel aims to evoke, understand, to raise fear, dread. So that is the danger and horror. Okay, through supernatural elements, psychological tension, and grotesque scenarios. So, very strange, ugly, extremely different scenarios. Understand? So, we find supernatural elements, okay, psychological tensions, and very strange and ugly scenarios in horror novels. Example of horror novels: Dracula by Bram Stoker, the Shining by Stephen King. The Shining by Stephen King. These are the example of horror novel. The ninth one is young adult novel, so which targets adolescents, very young people, readers, adolescent readers, the young readers, the youth, understand, often dealing with the themes relevant to young adults. So often we find the themes, the topics, okay, regard to youth and young people. Example of young adult novels: The Hunger Games by Sujani Collins, The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. The tenth one is graphic novel. A graphic novel, very popular in the modern literature, a narrative work that uses comic strip. Comic strip. Comic strip means cartoons, a group of cartoons. Okay, comic strip style, using cartoons and illustrating, explaining to tell the story, explaining the story by using a cartoon, a group of cartoons. So it explains the story. That is graphic novel. Example of graphic novels are Moss by Art Spiegelman, Persepolis by Marge Marjane Satrapi. So these are the types of the novels which we find, and some of the popular examples of novels. So that is Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen, which was written in 1830. Moby Dick by Herman Melville, 1851, which was written in published in 1851. Great Expectations by Charles Dickens, which was published in 1861. To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee, so which was published in 1960. Uh, 1984 by George Orwell, which was written in 1949. The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald, which was published in 1925. Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte, which was published in 1847. Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, which was written in 1818. Beloved by Toni Morrison, which was written in 1987. And The Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger, which was written in 1951, etc. These are the some of the popular examples of novels. Even we find more. So I hope you understood the concept of the novel. So thank you very much.